Accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers has called on the government to focus on previously proposed policies that were not implemented to drive tax revenue growth. This after the government tabled a $1.44 trillion budget, of which $18 billion is expected to come from new taxes yesterday. Halshin Burke tells us more.
PwC says to avoid an erosion of the hard-won gains from significantly reducing the national debt and debt-to-GDP ratio, the government must generate greater levels of investment and economic activity that will contribute greater taxes to the consolidated fund. It also suggests increasing tax compliance so everyone pays their fair share of taxes. To put these into play, PwC says last year, both Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and Finance Minister Favour Williams indicated the intention to develop initiatives to encourage taxpayers to bring home to Jamaica business activities as well as investment holdings that have been established in or transferred to other tax jurisdictions. This has not yet been implemented. It says if designed and implemented properly, this could bring in fresh economic activity that is currently taking place outside of Jamaica, which in turn could bring additional tax revenues after such activities or investments migrate to Jamaica. This could also provide an opportunity to abolish asset tax, which further acts as a deterrent to bring and hold assets in Jamaica. The accounting firm believes consideration should be given to the use of various technological tools to bring the informal economy more within the tax net before the government seeks to impose new or higher taxes in the future. For example, the use of electronic tax receipts, which could be required by law to be used by businesses meeting certain criteria so that their revenues can be collated for tax purposes. It also recommended that a voluntary structured tax settlement program be developed and implemented so taxpayers can regularize their tax affairs and maintain tax compliance going forward. PwC is also calling for an overhaul and reform of the urban renewal tax regime and to extend it to a wider range of urban areas outside of downtown Kingston, a move Dr. Holness has expressed interest in effecting. This will spur new investment and economic activity in blighted urban areas across the island to generate new taxes directly from their activity as well as through the economic multiplier effect. The reformed regime could also be extended on a temporary basis to disaster zones to help them build back more quickly. With the impending special consumption tax on non-alcoholic sweetened beverages, it says consideration could be given to applying a lower SCT rate on beverages below a certain sugar content or excluding unsweetened beverages and applying a higher rate to those above that threshold. Halshane Burke, Radio Jamaica News.
Executive Director of the Heart Foundation.
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth our fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Put your hand over your heart if you love Jamaica, and say, God bless Jamaica. If you love Jamaica, put your hand over your heart and say, God bless Jamaica. Leave it at that. God bless Jamaica. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show for this Saturday morning, Valentine's Day, the 14th of February. Happy Valentine's, everybody. If you celebrate it or not. Some people don't. Some people think it's a big thing. All soul party for Valentine's. That's what I say. Anywhere, everywhere. Go dance to a love song. Anywhere. Lots are going on. Morning to what was the event name? Foreplay? Big up yourself. Less 5,000. They have been doing this party for quite some time. Yeah, man. DJ Chungy, which play play tonight? I know it's all over. Yeah. It is the Saturday after the presentation of the budget. I see. I don't want to come here this morning and say, I told you so, but we did. Morning, Ralston Iman. Conrad O'Brien, good morning. People who are willing to look at the data objectively. Simon Crosskill, morning. Morning, Simon. Sure. Virgin. Ah, yeah. It is what it is, people. It is what it is. Morning, Mr. Pernell Charles. I sent you a letter, an invite, not a letter, but an invitation for an interview. We're still hoping to talk to these government ministers so that we can understand the things that they are doing. Because, see it, you know. $18 billion, $18.1 billion in new taxes. Yeah. Jamaica, we're in trouble. Welcome to Portland Spice TV. If you have not yet subscribed, we invite you to subscribe to the channel, share and like the channel. We invite you to become our Portland Spice ambassador so we can build this platform and we use it to disseminate the information. We use it to have the discussion. This is the best discussion on media about governance in Jamaica. It's governance we talk. And we told the government that when you give away $12.4 billion, we were not at that stage. I said it. It was a crazy move. And when we tell you all that the Jamaican economy has been in decline, you see, another same day, leaf got water, it rot, you know. It's not the same day, leaf got water, it rot. You understand? So if you have people who can see it come and tell you, it's a change because the road cut off down there, sir, and you still decide to drive, go down there and go a gully. All the way your car gone a gully. Eh? Facts. A stubborn master. Yeah. Facts. We told you. And whether Melissa had come, this is where you were heading all along. So, you cheer every year about no new taxes. But we continue to say, fine, but you're not growing. And you also have been increasing in the collection of tax. There are other ways. Yeah? So, we told you that the economy was in trouble. And it all getting a further trouble. This is the beginning. The result of 10 years of lack of growth. 10 years, no growth. So we tell you, you know. That's what we've been preaching. We've been telling you. Yeah, you say about the hurricane. We know. These and more will come. That's why you have to grow. It have to be a growth strategy. This morning show, I have a couple of things where we have to talk about. Let me introduce you to this clip.
Accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers.
No, not that. I think we played that one already. Which one it is? Isn't it this one? Is this one?
The Jamaica Urban Transit Company's.
Nah, not that one either. Why have them mixed up so? Lord.
St. Catherine Municipal Corporation have flagged piles of medical waste being stored at the St. Jacob Park Health Centre as a major medical crisis. The councillors argue that medical waste has been sitting at the facility for over a year and has been affecting the air quality in the area. The Health Centre and Health Department share the same compound. Councillor for the Treadways Division, Sidney Rose, says he has made several attempts to have the St. Catherine Health Department resolve the matter. However, all efforts have been unsuccessful.
medical waste that is stored there in an open space and which should have been stored in a refrigerated space. My investigations would have unearthed that NEPA would have served notices on the St. Catherine Health Department. The Public Health Department would have served notice, and the situation remains the same. Even Councillor Enos Lawrence will tell you that the residents in his division would have been complaining about the stench. And what makes it worse, Your Worship, I've visited, and when I see rat, road,
Councillor Sidney Rose.
Tell you that the residents in his division would have been complaining about the stench. And what makes it worse, Your Worship, I've visited, and when I see rat, roach, you name it, dogs, various limbs and parts of bodies are stored there. And the residents and the workers and also visitors to the St. Jago Health Center are complaining. I call the parish manager, he doesn't answer. I call the chief public health inspector, she doesn't answer. Scant regard to the people of the parish.
Counsel for the Treadways Division, Sidney Rose. He was speaking during Thursday's meeting of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation. The Health Department did not provide an immediate response to the matter. And the police have detained.
What does that mean? Wanna just listen to that a while ago? Wanna just listen to what the man said a while ago? Pricewaterhouse is an international, reputable accounting, auditing, and rating agents you need to have. They are one of the rating agents as well. But we've been saying to the government, it's growth. It's growth. You must grow. You give away $12.4 billion. I mean, no, so when we talk about it, a lot of people could have said, Lord, you know, can't left that now. $12.4 billion. It's $18 billion. Them look for plug the hole, you know. And we have suggested other things with that money they could have do that would better serve the country than give a man $20,000. Me tell you no, so the government are give away with possibilities. And it's going to get worse. That's what we've been pointing to tax run country. But how you going to be taxing people when they are down, when they are hardest hit? That's when you put on the tax on the people, you know? At their worst moment. But the government does not have a choice. The government is short on ideas. Very, very short. So the government don't know how to earn for the country, how to grow the economy. It's 10 years of failing to grow the economy. That's the massive part of the failure of the government, the biggest failure to find growth. Remember, you know, they know, Andrew Holness know that growth is important. They know, but they can't find it. And the Jamaican people have, a lot of Jamaicans have closed their eyes to the fact that our leaders have failed to find growth. Same people for the last 10 years. Average growth, 0.8%. This is the result. Look at other administration. They have grown more than this administration. Cos Omar Davis, I want to say, him used to grow between 1.5 and 2%. That was Omar Davis' average growth. Yeah? We still not get to 1% average, which that also is minuscule and cannot be spoken about. 1%. No. Jamaica needs to grow upwards of 5%. So any measurement, you must be heading up there if you're not even there. The countries required a growth rate of 5% and up. Andrew Holness-led administration has not gotten off the ground. Wanna stop fight that. The day you wanna stop fight that, the day things may start get better, because then you would accept that you have a problem. But when you're not accepting that you have a problem, then the country really have a problem. What is wrong with these people? Medical waste pile up at a facility outside for a year. Sidney Rose must be lying. We have to talk to him this morning. We have to talk to Sidney Rose this morning. This people was carried on Jamaica's #1 news station, the RGR Communication Group. Them reputable. Listen this.
The St. Catherine Municipal Corporation have flagged piles of medical waste being stored at the St. Jacob Park Health Centre as a major medical crisis. The councillors argue that medical waste has been sitting at the facility for over a year and has been affecting the air quality in the area. The Health Centre and Health Department share the same compound. Councillor for the Treadways Division, Sidney Rose, says he has made several attempts to have the St. Catherine Health Department resolve the matter. However, all efforts have been unsuccessful.
Medical waste that is stored there in an open space and which should have been stored in a refrigerated space. My investigations would have unearthed that NEPA would have served notices on the St. Catherine Health Department. The Public Health Department would have served notice, and the situation remains the same. Even Councillor Enos Lawrence will tell you that the residents in this division would have been complaining about the stench. And what makes it worse, Your Worship, I've visited, and when I see rat, road.
This is serious, people. This is not a joke matter.
The residents in this division would have been complaining about the stench. And what makes it worse, Your Worship, I've visited, and when I see rat, roach, you name it, dogs, various limbs and parts of bodies are stored here. And the residents and the workers and also visitors to the St. Jago Health Centre are complaining. I call the parish manager, he doesn't answer. I call the chief public health inspector, she doesn't answer. Scant regard to the people of the parish.
Councillor for the Treadways Division, Sidney Rose. He was speaking during Thursday's meeting of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation. The Health Department did not provide an immediate response to the matter. And the police have detained.
You hear the madness there? Those are the kind of madness that is happening under Christopher's management. Them thing they are happen. Christopher is supervising the health sector in Jamaica. I think I kind of all over the place a little bit still, but each topic have its own merit. So the finance minister laid out the tax measures in the parliament. And I hear about her, but I am going to play Julian Robinson because I think this lines up with what we were saying, that the government has squandered the gain. You remember last year when Favour said you know, for party with the rent money, and I told you all that this government is partying with the rent money? That's exactly what they were doing. I told you, you know. I told you. You see, Ralston tell you, it's daytime attack. And data, you have to follow trends. Yeah? And the trend was showing that we need to do the right thing. What we are doing is sustainable. And we are also now doing it with the dollar, based the dollar on nothing. Listen, Julian.
And as we go along, I want to make a couple of comments. Before we get to Melissa, or even before we got to Barry, it's important to remind the country that for the last 2 fiscal years, government's revenues have been struggling to meet government expenditures. And the government has relied for the last 2 fiscal years on 2 one-off transactions which have allowed the government to fund the budget. In 2023-24, the sale of 12 years of future revenues from the Norman Manley International Airport yielded $75 billion, which financed the 23-24 budget. For the 24-25 budget, the sale of future revenues, 10 years of future revenues of Donaldson Airport yielded $61 billion, which allowed the government to finance the 24-25 budget. I am making this point, Madam Speaker, to indicate that without Beryl, without Melissa, the government would have had to find some other asset to sell to meet the demands of the budget. All right? I want to go to some of the measures, again,
we're not going
preliminary to.
So that's what we've been telling you. The thing with the government do, never sustainable. And you cannot be challenged on that. See a man who you can't challenge on it. Mr. Marsh, good morning, sir.
Morning. How you doing, Colin?
You know I am doing good, Mr. Marsh. We're there here. We have braced ourselves for this time. I come and it going to get worse. We are telling the people.
Yeah. Well, I not put them on my brain too much because I tell you, a medical condition catch me. Pressure go up sky high.
Oh Lord, no, you can't.
Some numbness and the doctor say I suffer a mild stroke.
Oh no.
So I was warned.
Sorry about that. Not to get irate.
Yes, so I behave myself. But I couldn't stand by and listen to the nonsense that the finance minister and prime minister Andrew Warren is telling the Jamaican people, blaming Melissa for the increase in taxes.
Well, we said that.
It is a lie from the pit of hell.
But we said they would do that to the Marshy.
Yeah?
We said that they would do it.
Of course, we know, man. But little simpleton like me, we know. Because all when them about no new tax and thing, we don't know all of the something them already. But listen to me. When they're blaming the hurricane and keep telling this country about the biggest hurricane in history that has ever leaked anywhere, it till hit Jamaica. No, a 5 parish hurricane touch. Did you know?
No, man.
When we shouldn't say, did you know?
And a 5 parish touch. It touched more parish than that, but it never destroyed the whole country.
Yes.
About 5
because the rest of the parish they touch is just one of the regular bad weather where they would really get. Nothing serious.
Well, people in other parishes lost entire roof. People lost them whole house. You know,
but when they're making the world believe that is the whole island be destroyed, the biggest place where get the leak. Did you know that Kingston and St. Andrew population bigger than all of them they put together?
Yeah, man. All 5 places I think Kingston and St. Andrew population cover that. Over a million people live in Kingston and St. Andrew, you know.
Right.
And I think those 5 parishes are about 600,000 somewhere there about. Then I reach a million.
You know the thing that what will I look at? I know Sunday school alone you go. Because we know only live right now know there's something there. So they're making the rest of the world believe that Melissa destroyed the whole Jamaica. And they're coming to tell the labor right. Them can't labor right, them are telling us because of the hurricane. Before this people, Omar Hassan did I warn them, a businessman. Them people like Mafu, them did I warn them long before. Me no call Rastanheim and the professor yet, me no call him name.
But hold on, Marshy. Listen back to Julian. Listen what Julian said. Hold on, listen this.
And as we go along, I want to make a couple of comments. Before we get to Melissa, or even before we got to Beryl, it's important to remind the country that for the last 2 fiscal years, government's revenues have been struggling to meet government expenditures. And the government has relied for the last 2 fiscal years on 2 one-off transactions which have allowed the government to fund the budget. In 2023-24, the sale of 12 years of future revenues from the Norman Manley International Airport yielded $75 billion, which financed the 23-24 budget. For the 24-25
Receipt,
budget,
Marshall.
the sale of future revenues, 10 years of future revenues of
This is like
Donaldson
a man,
Airport
his salary
yielded
before he gets it.
$61 billion, which allowed the government to finance the 24-25 budget. I am making this point, Madam Speaker,
Listen to the point.
to indicate that
Yes.
without Beryl, without Melissa, the government would have had to find some other asset to sell to meet the demands of the market.
Tell them! Tell them!
Yeah, make them challenge that.
No, listen, those are not
Make
opinions. you know.
them challenge that.
That is a statement backed by facts, receipt presented.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and they were told in the parliament. We told them here. So, Portland Spice TV, I want to thank Ralston Iman, the teacher, for
Yes.
guiding the
Yes.
financial classes
Yes.
on this channel.
And-
Second to
and-
none.
Yeah. Remember, even before the election, you remember, sir, them couldn't pay some teachers,
Yeah.
them couldn't pay some health workers. They're having problem. You remember where them have to get some money to pay some people is put on a treasury bill because they're short on money.
Listen.
So we don't know anything new.
Brother.
And they're coming now to put all the blame on Melissa, taking people for fool.
But
Come on, man.
Melissa will have to take the blame, you know, right? Marshy. You remember what we said that right after Melissa, that when this budget here come, they're going to blame everything on Melissa.
Yes,
and so it is. But here what happened.
That's how it is.
But here what happened. The trend was coming. And as Julian said,
Yes.
whether Melissa did come or not, government will have to find something to sell.
Yeah.
There's not more to sell because at this point you can't sell the 20% in a GPS. Because they were after selling that, you know, they had made mention, you know, of selling that 20%. You know, I remember I come out and said, don't do it. And them can't try it now. So then I'm not more for sell.
I one thing them have left to sell. I one thing them can't sell now, you know.
Why, party?
Nonsense.
Tell
It's only nonsense and can sell to the people right now, and the people don't want that to buy.
No.
We are waiting, you know. Our friend over the other side said, prepare for what is to come. That's a sign that Andre keeps saying. Prepare for what is to come. It's here now.
We're not telling you prepare for what is to come. We are telling you prepare for what is coming because it's on the way. If you are at certain part of the social economic sector, it'll hit you hard right now.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes,
and it'll come up the line. So, and like it'll start tomorrow. It is on the way, people. And we've been showing you the signs. Ralston, I don't think Ralston can be no clearer and no simpler
it's clear as day
to the average man where the Jamaican economy is. And when the man talk, it happen, brother.
Yes.
So you call a man liar and tell us this a come.
Yes. It is not somebody who you can say wise after the fact.
Tala.
Yes,
it's a pregnancy. The man said, girl, child. The man said, Mary, you are with child.
Yes.
And Joseph, your wife is with child. And Joseph, I said, oh, she will be with child. Yes, Jamaica is pregnant with bad economics.
Yes.
And the baby is being delivered upon us right now.
Yes. And you know, I sorry for Favor, because Favor is what they tell Favor to say, you know. That's what Favor is saying.
Yeah, but it's the team. It's not Favor. Favor is just the carrier. It's the team, brother.
Yes.
The entire cabinet, the administration is lacking.
Yeah. You have a man over there. You have a man in the JLP, one senator. Him only profile, but him get a ministry. What growth? What him do for grow the economy? He name Arbin Hill. Him just chat off him mouth all the while. What him do?
Brother,
what the hell Arbin Hill is doing?
If you give a man a work for do, and you pay him, and him now do the work, and you continue to pay him, what you think you'll get?
Zero. That's all.
Now, but just come and collect then hold on. If you can just turn up on profile and collect every month, you gonna give that job up,
Yes.
Marshy?
No.
Listen,
For real.
man.
For real.
Listen, man.
Take it easy, sir.
Bless
We
you,
give
my
somebody
brother.
else a chance. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good.
man. Sydney Rose, we're going to talk to him in a little while. Councillor of the Treadway Division. Let me talk to Neville before me have to talk to Sydney Rose. Because Marshy beat Neville this morning to the call.
Hello?
Neville, morning.
Morning, Mr. Bell. First, make I say I wish Marshy all the speedy recovery in the world. And I know the good Lord will make sure that we make sure by tomorrow Marshy will feel on top of the world. Marshy is such a fine guy, nice guy. I enjoy listening to Marshy and a school boy, a school captain. We call him again.
Ed boy. Yeah,
a long time, me look like he's on tour with you because watching you this morning, I can recognize that I see the foreign cup on the background look foreignish and so, meaning that for you and the team to spend, because I was expecting you to come home during the blank days, the
put it
Thursday,
up straight,
Friday.
Sydney. Put the phone straight. Continue, Neville.
Yeah, I said I was expecting you to come home between the blank days, Thursday, Friday.
Oh, you can't know when to expect me, man.
Because we have monitor you, Colin. We have to monitor you, because he's a dangerous guy, to the government.
Put it stand up straight, so Sydney. Turn back the phone. Yeah, turn it back. Make it stand up straight. If you're hearing me. Yeah. We can work with it, so no problem. Yeah, Neville.
You understand?
Yeah.
We have to monitor you,
Well, as me tell you, Neville, I have a guest plan to talk to Sydney Rose. You heard the thing I play about the medical waste, Neville?
Yeah, I saw it on the TV last night.
What
the St. Catherine Parish Council said it had been there for more than a year now.
What can go so?
No, it not look good. It not look. Colin, anything went wrong, you can't depend on me to say it not right, because
all right, Neville.
No part,
Call me back after this interview because I have Sydney Rose on the line. Call me right back after the interview. I want to play about this
St.
clip.
Catherine Municipal Corporation have flagged piles of medical waste being stored at the St. Jacob Park Health Centre as a major medical crisis. The councillors argue that medical waste has been sitting at the facility for over a year and has been affecting the air quality in the area. The Health Centre and Health Department share the same compound. Councillor for the Treadways Division, Sydney Rose, says he has made several attempts to have the St. Catherine Health Department resolve the matter. However, all efforts have been unsuccessful.
Medical waste that is stored there in an open space and which should have been stored in a refrigerated space. My investigations would have unearthed that NEPA would have served notices on the St. Catherine Health Department. The Public Health Department would have served notice, and the situation remains the same. Even Councillor Enos Lawrence will tell you that the residents in his division would have been complaining about the stench. And what makes it worse, Your Worship, I've visited, and when I see rat, road.
Yeah, that's a serious situation.
Tell you that the residents in his division would have been complaining about the stench. And what makes it worse, Your Worship, I've visited, and when I see rat, roach, you name it, dogs, various limbs and parts of bodies are stored there. And the residents and the workers and also visitors to the St. Jacob Health Centre are complaining. I call the parish manager, he doesn't answer. I call the chief public health inspector, she doesn't answer. Scant regard to the people of the parish.
Councillor for the Treadways Division, Sydney Rose. He was speaking during Thursday.
You heard it right there. Councillor for the Treadways Division. Councillor Sydney Rose. Me call him comrade because he's my comrade. Comrade, morning.
Pleasant morning to you, sir.
This cannot be true. That's where I want to start. This cannot be true. Expand a little more about this.
It is a fact, and I am speaking to you now as chairman of the Health and Sanitation Committee of the St. Catherine Municipal Committee. So I'm not only a councillor for the Treadways Division, but in
the authority in the parish for health.
Chairman of the committee, Health and Sanitation Committee. And let me say to you and your subscribers, a pleasant morning.
Thank you.
And the municipal corporation is also the local board of health.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, we are the local board of health.
No.
This has been happening for quite some time. Initially, it was stored in close proximity to the accident and emergency area of the Spanish Town Hospital. I went there, saw the situation, spoke about it on national television, and that area was clean. Lo and behold, I got some information from some residents of De La Vega City. And I said, this cannot be true. So I opted to go myself to make some observation. And to my surprise, I saw on the St. Catherine Health Department, where the Public Health Department office is, and also the St. De La Vega Health Center is, a whole set of medical waste dumped in an open space, exactly behind the De La Vega Health Center and the St. Catherine Health Department office. It has a chain link fence around it, about 4 feet or less. And it is in that open space that they stored it. And it is piled over and above that 4 feet fence. I would have made some inquiries of the senior medical officer of health.
Mr. Rose is on TV, so if you're watching the council on TV, no, don't call him now. Wait till him come off, please and thanks. Continue, Sidney.
I went to the office to see the senior medical officer of health, and she was not there. So I left a message. I called the parish manager, Mr. Campbell. He has not answered his phone up until today. I called the chief public health inspector for the parish. As a matter of fact, we have also asked her to visit our meetings. And up until today, she has not visited.
Isn't that a requirement for her to visit the annual meeting, the general meeting of the municipal corporation?
Yes, it is for a public health inspector of a certain, whether she or the deputy, but she has never come as a chief public health inspector. I think since she has been there over the 2 years, she has only visited us once. Once. And this is a public health crisis, and you're called. And you have never scanned regard. And I think this cannot continue.
Have you reached out to the Minister of Health?
I have reached out to him through hotline with Dr. Orville Taylor, and he promised to speak with the parish manager as well, but it has not changed anything.
So, hold on, the question is the Minister of Health aware
yes,
of
he
this
is.
situation?
Yes, he is. He is, because when I called, when I sent a message to Dr. Orville Taylor on hotline, his response to that message, to that text message, was that he'll speak with the parish manager about it.
So Dr. Orville Taylor read that in a text message that you sent, because let me just tell the listeners that Dr. Tufton comes on RGR hotline every Friday.
Right, you're correct.
I think it's a paid segment by the Ministry of Health, and he's on there.
You're correct.
And so Councillor Sidney Rose is saying that he sent a text message to the host, Dr. Orville Taylor. The message was read. You heard it, Councillor?
Yes, I did.
And the response of the minister is that he will touch base with who?
The parish manager, Mr. Campbell.
And how long ago was that?
About 4 weeks or more.
4 weeks or more since you go back to the site and see body parts and medical waste overflowing in an open space?
in an open space, but not only in an open space, but a lot of the bags are busted, and you have dog, you have flies, you have rodent. It's a nasty. I had to when I went there, I had to put on a mask because the stench was unbearable.
Hold on the people. Share up the live here for me. Hold on the Sydney. Hold on, Councillor Sydney Rose. My comrade. Hold on. Share up the live here, everybody. Because Councillor of the Treadway Division and Chairman of the
Health and Sanitation Committee
of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation is saying that medical waste is being stored at an open area behind which clinic?
The St. Diego Health Department / clinic. So there's a clinic there, and that is where the health department office for the parishes as well. That is where, and what is funny, that is where the public health inspectors are housed. And they are supposed to be the guardian of what we call public health. They are the persons who go out and ensure that, persons maintain the standard of public health in the parish. And they would have issued several notices.
Isn't this a threat to public health?
It is a major threat to public health. Major. Not simply public health. Major threat. Because all sorts of diseases can be had from this situation. Remember, you have rodents, you have flies, you have mosquitoes, you have dogs, cats, all of those. You would have seen here
rats
trying to get a piece of the waste.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not exaggerating, it's a fact. And what is hard is that the persons who work there cannot speak. They're afraid. They are timid.
Councillor, you have pictures and videos?
Well, I would have shared that. I don't have them with me here, but I would have.
We don't want you share it to the public.
Yes, we have it. It was on television, TVJ last night. It was on television a month or more ago on TVJ. So the whole nation would have seen it last night and a month or two ago as well.
Oh no, Dr. Tufton,
so this is that speculation.
Hold on there. Dr. Tufton. No. Somebody call Dr. Tufton, please. Tell him
I will need to call Mr. Francis at NEPA too, because he would have served notices.
But hold on. If you say NEPA served notice,
yes,
then NEPA would have done their part.
Not totally, because guess what happened? And I think it's a double standard that is happening here. Because when you had Tradewind Citrus and you had Windalco who breached the NEPA or the Environmental Act, they were taken to court. So this ought not to be different. The notices were served, and this has been happening over a year. Nothing has happened. They should be brought to the court.
What role does the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation have? Can't the St. Catherine Municipal Authority also take the health authority to court?
Well, we have to go through the public health department, which, we'd have to have the cooperation from them, because they are the ones who would have served the notices, the public health inspectors.
And if you are the board of health, the medical board of health for the parish, don't you also have some responsibility as the municipal corporation, the mayor and wider directors?
Yes, we do, but we would have to depend on the cooperation of others. And that's why I'm saying,
So are you saying that there are councillors who are not cooperating with getting this medical waste removed? That's what you're saying?
It's not councillors, it's external. Because we had a situation with the St. Catherine District Prison some time ago, in which we were able to take the Commissioner of Corrections to the courts. And since that, they would have changed, the Ministry of Health would have, and the government by extension, would have made some changes. to how the public health inspectors treat with their duties. So that is what is hampering us from doing what we ought to do from how we would have done it before. So some changes would have been made since that, because I guess persons were embarrassed because of the situation. But NEPA can and should, because, when others external to government would have breached, they would be brought to the courts. So the Ministry of Health and the St. Catherine Parish Health Department should be no exception. It's one law. One law.
And you said that you have called on the chief medical
Public
officer,
health inspector, NEPA, the parish manager,
let's go back
Dr.
to
Tufton, and nothing has happened.
Let's go back to the chief public health inspector. What was that person's response?
She has never answered the phone, and she has never attended our meeting except for once in 2 years.
As the mayor summoned her to a meeting, because the mayor have that authority,
We would have asked on several occasions for a letter to be sent to the St. Catherine Health Department for
so
her.
the medical board of health now have no teeth then, councillor. Because as I said, if you are the medical board of health, which I think at your monthly some meeting is morphed into the board of health to deal with the health of the parish, isn't that so?
Yes, but I'll tell you what my intentions are, and I am no soliciting external persons, an attorney, and you might know very well from your neck of the woods too. We are in dialogue, and we want to, on behalf of the community, look at how we can bring a matter to enforce the authorities to clean and not to store any further medical waste in this regard. So I have consulted or contacted a lawyer from your neck of the woods, and we have been having some dialogue, and in short order, you will hear something, because I am...
Councillor,
yes, sir.
Here where my concern is. That thing need to move now. That shouldn't
and
be the Monday morning.
And that is why I have contacted the lawyer and request of him some help in that regard on behalf of the citizenry of the parish, especially the residents of De La Vega City who have been crying out day after day. The public health workers would have been crying out. The persons who are going to the clinic would have been crying out. I say it's stink bad. And I think that place should be closed until all of this is cleaned up, because of public health threat. It should be closed.
But why the authority, why the municipal authority led by the PNP, why would you not close it down? You can't close it down.
I don't want you to look at it from a political perspective,
no,
because
it's not political.
I'm afraid,
councillor. It's not political.
Yes, but when I mentioned led by the PNP,
parish council have some authority, and why I'm saying use the authority. How can you not come together? Isn't it that the majority would decide if the council will take action or not?
Yes, but I just told you of a situation where the St. Catherine District Prison was served and ultimately brought to the courts. Because of what happened then, the government would have made some changes. So you have to go about it in a different way.
So you have to go to court again while it's sit down there.
So I would have, spoken with the Councillor Enos Lawrence, and the residents. And there are some persons who have to visit the clinic too. And we are looking at a class action. So I'm speaking to the attorney now, and he's trying to put something together, because, it cannot continue.
No, that can't continue, and that should not go to court. I don't see why that.
But after a year, and the situation has not been remedied. And, these things ought to be stored in a refrigerated space. Has to be.
Yeah.
Has to be. So you can imagine the pain. I think, we treat ourselves.
Are you aware that Dr. Tufton came out the other day and said we have a problem managing our medical waste?
But this has been for more than a year. And we have private contractors who the military can,
That's
work
where
the
the minister.
contract out with.
But how can the ministry get, how can things get to this state on the island? And we have spent the most money in health under this administration. What can go so?
It depends on where your priorities are, you know. I think waste management is not one of the priorities, so you know. But
we're calling on the Minister of Health to get this area clean immediately, Mr. Minister. This have to be done now. That should not be there Monday morning. Mothers turning up to clinic should not be subject to be kneeling this kind of stench, Minister. What is this?
No,
it
should not
be right.
But not even that, when you think about the persons who work there, the medical officer, the same parish manager, the same chief public health inspector.
But you know, councillor, you know why I look in this, so because I refuse to believe that they have not complained. So maybe that's why them now, because them say, why if we complain.
That is not true. I've heard it every single day. But you know what happens when you speak out?
Hold on. So you are saying that you don't think the chief health inspector make no complaint about that, and the people them who work, they make no complaint? They must complain.
I know there would have a lot of persons who work there would have complained to me.
Yeah.
But you know, they complain, but they are in fear.
And therefore, you know, and I am happy that you make yourself available for this interview, that you are the people's representative out there now and putting it to wider Jamaica. So listen, this is the problem here. People have tried. And we'll put up Dr. Tufton picture up on the screen, because I think ultimately Dr. Tufton must get this done by Monday morning. That sort of thing must not be there on Monday morning. And Dr. Tufton, you need to go your yard, man. You need to stop collect taxpayers' money them way, your brother. And we are paying for supervise all of this. We are paying you to supervise the health sector in Jamaica. Ultimately, it comes under you. And these kind of balling out, and we are understanding that you are aware of this for sure for more than 4 weeks. Once this come to your attention, this should have moved forward with. This is crazy. This is a recipe for disaster. We're not trying to kill off Jamaican people.
Major public health outbreak. Major public health outbreak.
Rata going night, you know, and then go mix up with people food in a people house, you know.
Flies,
the dogs, them night will live on some of the yard, you know.
Mm-hmm. The mosquitoes too. The mosquitoes too.
Human body parts, you said, councillor, you say human body parts.
Everything, there. All of that. I remember, you know, droplets of blood are in there because syringes and all of those things are there. So when those mosquitoes would have gone into those things and then they come to different parts of the community, and you would have been bitten. You know what can be transmitted?
No, man,
what can be transmitted?
This is dangerous, my brother.
Very, very.
This is dangerous. This should not be happening in our communities.
No.
This should not be happening in our communities. We need to take this out right away. Councillor, anything finally you want to add before you leave us?
Just want to understand if there are two laws in Jamaica as it relates to how we regulate. Because ordinarily, after so long, you would have served notices and the breach continued. There should be a matter in the court for enforcement. And this is where I would go strongly against NEPA, for them to understand that this is the health and wellness of the people of St. Catherine. And they have breached the trust in not taking the actions that they can in law. So I'm concerned.
Somebody in the chat room say if you really ask if there is two laws.
Of course, yes. Yes. Of course, yes.
Maybe about 3, councillor. Maybe about 3. We'll tell you straight up. 3 different set of laws in this country. Yeah? Remember, a man was found dead in a man house, you know. I know that man not got jail yet, not in jail. And but we
I
are
don't
really
want to
hoping,
take it from a political perspective. I want to take it from a public health perspective because
and
this affects
those are
all,
facts.
whether PNP, JLP, no P at all. So I am not. It's not a personal attack on the government,
But Councillor, hold on,
but
I think I have
a
OB here.
call for
Hold on.
action.
OB, morning.
Hi, Colin. Morning. How you doing? Morning
There,
to
man.
your viewers, your listeners. Hi,
Morning.
Councillor Rose. How you doing, sir?
We're just
Not too bad,
about
sir.
Good.
letting Councillor Rose run. So if you have a one question for him,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I want to first of all congratulate Councillor Rose, who and I appreciate what you're doing, Councillor Rose, not dealing with the thing from a political perspective, because certainly there are some things that has to be stripped away from the political one-upmanship. This is a national disgrace, a national crisis, and here again, from a national perspective, the Minister of Health should lose his job. There's no country, and I say this without any fear of successful contradiction, there's no country in the world, not even Haiti, that a minister could survive with what you have just displayed or discussed rather on this program. I must tell you that I had reason to traverse that particular area. I think it was yesterday or Thursday, and I smell a high stench, Councillor. I didn't know that this was happening, because certainly, but now that you have been, you have said what you have said, I know dotting the I's and crossing the T's and making the connection. This is a disgrace, and Prime Minister Holness, you should fire Christopher Tufton forthwith. You said, Councillor Rose, that you brought this to national radio, right? RJR Communication Group has about 60% of the market in Jamaica when you add everything together. You were on the program there, Dr. Tufton, and a paid
no, he sent a message. He sent a message.
Sorry, well, yeah, that's what I mean. Whatever, send message or whatever. But the thing was brought to the minister on the program. He gave a commitment, and you are saying 4 weeks after. Believe me, tears welling up in my eyes, because we're talking about our people at risk, where people can dead off. Listen to me now, man.
Man, a joke, Obi. I'm trying to be calm this morning, because Marsh is be calm, but this is a joke.
Listen to my brethren. I understand, I understand, Colin, and let me just offer, my sympathy and hope that comrade, that Mr. Marsh will be on the up and up, because sometimes, Colin, we want to be calm. We want to be calm as much as possible, my friend. But when these things, you see these things happening, and people are not working free, people are collecting millions of dollars in taxpayers' money. People are living high off the hog. And this is what is being passed off to as governance to our people. It paid my heart. I'm crying this morning.
Wicked, man. Wicked, O'Brien. Wicked. So, Councillor Rose.
Yes, sir.
What would you want to see happen before Monday? Because I hear you about the lawsuit and the carrying action, but I don't think this can remain there. What we need is for this to move. No.
You know what is strange? We have a situation with external contractors who can treat with the matter. So if the government outfit is not up to par, then we have private contractors. So we can, call a private contractor and have them treat with the matter. Because the stench for me is unbearable. The staff who are there on a daily basis, the public health inspectors, this medical officer of health, the same parish manager, and other staff member, public health nurses, and the clinic. You have baby mothers going there to pregnant women going there. We cannot expose And you
Babies
have
go there
persons
too.
who have certain lifestyle diseases, chronic diseases who, if they are bitten by mosquitoes and all of that, it can be fatal.
So they
It
have
can.
antenatal clinic there as well, counselor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How we are say?
Yes,
How we
sir.
are say, man?
Yes, sir.
How we are
So
say?
that is it health department / health center,
How we are say?
Yes, sir.
Obi.
Colin,
You hear that?
I do, and I want to say
that?
this to you. Absolutely, I hear, but I want to say this to you, Colin, viewers, listeners, Council Rose. Ball out indeed. Here is where the rubber also. Here is where the rubber also hit the road, viewers, listeners. When you talk about council, talk about the stench and certain that is unbearable. But here what happened? What is happened at the St. Catherine Municipal, St. Catherine, in that area there? It is basically migratory because the fact of the matter, rodents are there. Mosquitoes are there, all sort of things. These mosquitoes are biting people or bit people. People are moving. You have people who who live in various different space that work in that area, and they themselves could be carrying that disease. That is out there. The minister should be hanging his head in shame this morning. When this report to the minister, he should be on his telephone on a minutely basis, asking his people if this thing has been cleared. It is a damn disgrace.
Somebody said the citizens of De La Vega City have a strong constitution. Mercy.
You know, Colin, there are some things that we as a people, whether you vote PNP, Labour, or no vote, you're Jehovah's Witness, you're Presbyterian, whatever, you're white, you're black, you're poor, there are some things that we must come together and have national protest and national argument about, and this is one. This is embarrassing, it is disgraceful, it's a blot on the government of Jamaica.
Councillor, I want to thank you for joining us this morning here, sir.
Yes, but I am asking for the immediate removal and for such not to reoccur, whether on the hospital compound or the health center compound. We should not see any more storage of medical waste.
Councillor Rose, just one second before you go, Councillor Rose. I'll talk to you off here, but I'm asking you to join me Monday at 10:10. I'll talk to you further.
Yes, sir. Will do.
All right. All the best. Good.
Councillor, give thanks.
Blessings, sir.
Yeah, man.
Keep safe.
Blessings. Councillor Sydney Rose.
Colin, I hope I didn't send up my blood pressure.
No, but this is nasty, bro.
No, man.
Nasty.
Colin, come on, Colin. You know, let me tell you something. There are some things, brethren. This is a country called Jamaica, you know, Papa. We have ambition. We're a people of dignity and pride. And we're hearing that a place overflow with human body parts. Come on, Colin, the stinkiest thing that you can ever think of, you know.
Medical waste.
It's human body, you know.
Hold on. Medical waste must be dealt
Jesus
with in a
Christ.
specific way, you know. Medical waste can't throw out a door like
No,
your
sir.
kitchen waste. You understand?
No, sir. Jamaica done. No, sir. No, sir.
How can we have that in our spaces? Open. The man say a 4 feet fence and it a run over. Dog, puss, rat. And
Colin,
would I go there?
Colin, you know, this country have chalked up some negative records within the last 10 years. And I believe that this one must go down as one of the most egregious record of this government, because you cannot separate this from the government. When I say separate it,
it's one man me a call pan. Christopherton.
Yes.
Christopherton. You are the supervisor. We are paying you.
Listen to me now, man. Listen to me now, brother. This is so sad. It is so sad. You know, my late mother would have said this beat all cockfight.
When we tell people say them money are not ready, you know.
And you know, Colin, you have people who would have the audacity to say that, listen, there goes OB and Colin, they have political agenda. What under God heaven is in this for you to have political agenda for? We are living because we're talking about the people of Jamaica.
OB, this
the man
gives
say
us
the man say alternator thing the clinic is there, you know. Clinic that deal with the babies, you know.
Listen, this OB make we have political biases, because what we are saying, had it been a different minister, things would have been different.
Or if this happened, these same people would have asked for that minister head to be ruled, and correctly so it would be. Correctly so it would be. If something like this happened under the PNP and the JLP came out and asked for the minister head to rule, they would be doing the right thing. And again, I am also going to dovetail this. With this again emerge, there should be, as a matter of fact, I believe the PNP is supposed to take road for this year one year to get rid of tough time.
Madness. We have a call. Chris, morning.
Morning, Colin. Obi, how you doing, my friend?
I am wonderful. Give God the glory.
But I feel your passion, and I was there. When I called Colin before the election earlier in the system, you know, it break me down, because these are the things that really dishearten you. I just see America falling apart and people looking homeward to say, well, they don't know what's going to happen, but so let's see if we can at least have something at home. And I call Colin, you know, often to get his opinion and stuff. And I was talking to Colin about the same thing. I said, Colin, the thing that frightened me the most is coming to Jamaica and the medical system.
Yeah.
You know, at my age, I need to know that there is a good medical system that I can rely on. And I can tell you, Obi, I have no faith, zero faith in the system as it exists in Jamaica currently.
Chris,
you know, so this is what.
Chris,
this is, you know, there's a yes, sir.
One sec, Chris. I tell you this. I have a large number of diaspora listeners in Canada. And I can tell you, they call me both on air, but a lot of them call me off air. And especially some of the older folks. And they said, Canada is not suffering what America is suffering, but these people are looking at it from a standpoint of the climate and all of that. And a number of them are saying that, listen, they would love to return to Jamaica. You know what they talk about? Most of all, the health system. They are so fearful of the health system. I say that just to tie into your point. Go ahead. Sorry to disturb you.
Yeah, and that, you know, if you build it, they will come, you know, as there was a movie and that was a part of the plot. You build something, you don't have to do everything, but there are certain things that you have to put in place to attract people to come back home. And the number one item is healthcare for people who have been in this country, Canada, you know, developed country, and can depend on the system. They need to be assured that a basic level, a decent healthcare is available, and we don't see that in Jamaica, and that is one of the big reasons why you don't see a flood of Jamaicans returning back to Jamaica right now. You know, before I go, Colin and Obi, I want to shout out Mia Motley for our return to office. And as you know, Colin, I have a house in Barbados, so I consider myself partially a Bajan at heart.
Well, I am almost a Bajan, you know.
Yeah, and you know what, Colin is the only prime minister in the Caribbean presently that speaks on Caribbean issue for the entire region.
She's the leader of the Caribbean right now. She's leading the Caribbean.
Yeah, the one in Jamaica, him so afraid of America that, you know, and for good reason, I guess. But
yes, you have to give him that.
Yeah, Miamali speaks the truth and measured in a measured way, but somebody has to say something. You know, look, Trump has now withdrawn the U.S. from the climate agreements. This is worse, bad for Jamaica. We're talking about this hurricane with more fossil fuel dumping into the system. This is going to create an unstable climate, and we are going to pay the price in Jamaica. And you cannot sit down and don't say nothing if a man lighting your roof on fire. You have to say something.
No,
absolutely.
but him not lighting your roof yet. You watch him light your neighbor roof and you're cool with it.
The whole of the house on fire. You know, as Bob Marley said, when the rain fall, it fall upon everybody house stop at the end of the day. So we have to collectively say, no, this is not right. You know?
Absolutely
Right,
correct, Chris. Blessings, Chris. Blessings. Yeah. Yes, my brother.
Tuesday. Well, of course, we have to stop and congratulate Mia Motley. Good job. Clinical work.
Yes.
You know, I saw some of the work. Clinical.
Yeah. Yes. So, actually, so Colin. Yeah, man. I paid homage. I pay homage to Mayor, Prime Minister Motley, and Wednesday, after her massive victory, where she once again sweep the entire country, 30 out of 30. Of course, head boy, I had a head boy on the day of election, and he was basically positing some view. He was of the opinion that the Barbados Democratic Labour Party, because you have two Labour parties in there. You have the Barbados Labour Party and you have the Barbados Democratic Labour Party, which is the opposition. He thought that they could probably eke out maybe about 4 seats, but that wasn't to be, Colin. Mayor ramped home with all 30. And we want to congratulate her in a big way. And certainly I concur that she has been carrying the mantle for the Caribbean. I had a guest in studio on Thursday, who is Thursday from Karamak. She is head of the journalism department there. And she's from Trinidad. And she was saying that, listen, basically, she wished Mayor was the prime minister for the entire Caribbean. That is how much the regard and ratings Mayor has at this time.
I guess maybe that's why the GLP never wanted federation, because nobody from Freedom Party maybe couldn't reach to the prime minister of the Caribbean. Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Norwich here.
Hey,
I am calling because
Auntie Elaine.
Pension.
Eh?
Yes, no pension. None of the government workers will not get no pension.
Oh, you mean you're not getting no pension?
We not get none. Ask anybody else and then we not get any.
Hey.
All right. That's what I wanted to say.
You call the right time, because Obi going to be talking to Pernell when? Monday morning, Obi?
Yes, I'll have Colonel Charles, Minister Charles doing a Monday morning at 9:35.
Auntie said they not get them pension. We want to know why.
Morning, Obi. Please.
Hi, morning. How you doing?
Pension. We work hard for this.
Okay, there. I will definitely ask. Hold on. You're talking about your NIS pension or the pension? NIS pension. Okay, good. That's fall under the Ministry of Labor. Yes.
Yeah,
all right. Not a problem.
Thank you.
Blessings, Auntie Elaine. One love.
Okay, bye.
876-804-7072. We're going to be talking to Ralston in a little bit a while. Ralston is going to be joining us because the budget has been laid. Conrad O'Brien. New taxes. Morning. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Sir Bell. Thanks for the program that you're pushing out worldwide.
Yes,
okay. And I really appreciate it very much. So you stay safe. Continue the good work, my brother.
Yes, man. Thanks. All right. Respect. Obi, your car door open or something?
Yeah, I'm backing up. So I soon get rid of that sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, with us mute till you get rid of that sound there. Because it coming through quite loud. Go
Okay,
ahead,
I think
Obi.
it's good. All right, so go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
man, go
Colin.
ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
Hold on.
you were
See
put
Ed Boy in the building. Obi, you move from your location. Morning, Ed Boy. Obi. Hold on, the Ed Boy had you mute. Obi.
A tax package.
Hold on, you were in and out
Yes.
a while ago.
Good. I'm saying that there's no good reason for
Obi.
the government.
We still here in the car. We're still here in the car.
Okay.
We're still here.
Okay. My seat belt. Yes. Now I'm good now.
All right. Continue.
Am I good now?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, man.
And
I'm saying that
we have Ed Boy on the line as well. Morning, Ed Boy.
Okay, hi, head boy, morning. Good. Yeah, there's no good reason for this tax package to hit Jamaicans at this time, Colin, because here what happened. Although
Ed
the
Boy,
things tend to be ruled.
Morning. Forgive me, I didn't realize I was mute. Sorry.
Yes.
You know, although the thing is ruled in our way, Colin, and some people would say, boy, you know, this is the situation. But when you look at it, the tax package is going to hit the people at the bottom of the pyramid in a big way. Colin, irrespective of what we want to say, you know, there is a comfort zone that our majority of our people listen. We're not talking about people who go sit down a bar and they do whole day and a drink rum. But from time to time, a person wants a little drink there, so and so on, in order to, you know, keep himself at a certain quotient. And when you look at all of that, but in addition to that, Colin, you see the creative industry that Mark Golden basically said, listen, he was going to put some money into creative so that would help people. Right now, you know, Colin, we don't know the situation. The little man who go out there and him do a little pro thing on TikTok or on whatever and making a money. Those persons are fretting now, you know, because the taxes that not actually fully explained yet by the minister. People are worrying, will they now be taxed? All sorts of things that are happening, Colin. You talk about William Mafood. They are livid because they have basically just built out major plants, right? And they're saying that, listen, as a matter of fact, I get that William is saying that, listen, it seems if they're coming after his business. There's just so many things, Colin. We're also hearing argument about possibility of land tax, property tax increase and all of those sort of things.
Yes, of course, they're
right?
coming with that.
So when you look at it, Colin, it is touching every single one of us. And hear the argument now, Colin. The truth is that, as I said, there's no good reason to, because there are alternative measures. First of all, the government could simply just carry the 2.5% deficit, which would be even below the international norm, because I think international norm, acceptable norm, give you about 3.5% there. So if we carry that 2.5, we would still be under that. We also, Colin, have the $3.6 billion that we can draw down, and I'm hazarding a guess, Colin, that the government is trying to take up as little as possible of that money, because they want to continue with their bragging rights about not carrying down the debt and not borrowing and so on, while the people suffer.
Ed Boy,
you know, yes.
Go ahead.
Good morning again, gentlemen. You know, one of the issues that I find quite concerning, right? It is, imagine, in the middle of one of the greatest catastrophe that has hit Jamaica in over 37 years. Yeah? In 37 years. And what are we doing now? We're now proceeding to attack the citizenry of Jamaica by bringing on these tax measures, right? Now, Colin, you have long advocated for the creative industry, yes? And you have advocated for a creative industry which could grow our economy. Please just give me the number again that you have always been saying. If we target that, we could bring this into our GDP.
The creative industry, boy, is valued at over $3 trillion annually. So every year,
Yes.
countries around the world make a portion of that $3 trillion. Yeah? Jamaica is a country that in that kind of industrial punch way above our weight.
Absolutely.
But we definitely have not been maximizing on these possibilities. Now, I am saying with our recognition, our brand recognition around the world, we should be able to earn 1%, at least 1% of that $3 trillion. But Ed boy, I have since even reduced that and said 0.25 of a percent,
which is
quarter.
25 basis points, 0.25
basis points. Right, a quarter of a percent. That would be equivalent to $7.5 billion US annually.
No, hold on. Just hold on. 7.5 billion US dollars annually. Okay.
That would fix all our problem. If you can win at every year.
I asked you that question in this slide, Colin, and my good friend, Conrad. If from the time Colin Bell has been calling about this and been saying this, and if we had an administration in Kingston who really cared about the country and really cared about transformation of the economy, they would have been even making some attempts. Let's say we didn't get the first. Let's say within the first 2 years, we would have targeted 1 billion of that 7B. You see what I mean, Colin?
Yeah,
right?
but it requires the government to invest somewhere about 50 billion Jamaican dollars, not US.
No,
Jamaican.
but we can do it.
Of course we
have
can.
Creative measures. Colin, we can. Look, let me tell you something. There's a fund called the Chase Fund. Yeah? The Chase Fund. If the Chase Fund is creatively used for what it is, like bringing some sort of investment into entertainment in the real way. But I don't want to just stray away on the entertainment because we're dealing with really what is the budgetary issues.
Yeah.
Now, when you look on the NHT part, this is what gets me really pissed, Colin, and I'm saying this with no water in my mouth. I am disappointed. Andrew Holness is one of the wickedest things to have walked in Jamaica. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Look what they're committing to doing. They're committing to the continuation of the $11.4 billion from the NHT. This is wickedness, Colin.
But what is wicked about it? The country needs that money, Ed boy.
For rebuilding, that's the point I'm
No,
saying.
listen, hold on, Ed boy. The country needs that money for budgetary support. The government over the last 10 years have squandered the platform with a potential to grow the country. The economy has not been growing. If you now grow as a man in your house, you now earn enough to feed your family and pay the bills, and your family continue to get bigger and you are earning the same amount or maybe sometimes even less. You have to start selling everything, brother. All the picking them you might have to sell.
No, you're correct. You're correct. But Colin, I don't want us to miss this point. I'm saying,
if the government don't take that money from NHT, where they go and get it from?
And this is where I was going. I was saying if they were a damn creative government, they would have listened to what you were saying all along, and they would have had a buffer.
But it's too late for if now, Ed boy. If gone.
No, but moving away from the if, Colin, because I want people to understand what I'm saying. Imagine this is a disaster. When I saw St. James, West Southern, when I saw Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, right? I still sometimes in the night live the trauma of seeing the conditions that these people were living under, especially when it was ground zero in the first couple of weeks. Yeah. No, Colin.
Hey boy.
We're taking 1 second. Let 1 second, Conrad.
Yeah, but hold on. Don't leave that point. Don't leave the housing trust point as yet, because indeed there are alternatives, right? The government don't have to take the $11.4 billion from the housing trust.
Tell us where they're going to get it.
Hold on, and that should have stopped long time ago. Basically, what we had a situation where the tax collection and so on, we were not there. We had a situation. The main point why the government continued to take this is because of the overpaying down of the debt and so on, in order to basically have bragging rights. They have no business and no reason to take the $11.4 billion from the budget at this time. And even hold on, even with the situation with Hurricane Melissa, based on even that 3.6 billion dollars that is available. If they are doing things appreciably and drawing down on that, they could basically stop taking that 11.4 billion. That money would also go into the economy, but it would go into the economy from the National Housing Trust in terms of building the real purpose.
Me not get where you said them would I get the $11 billion from now if they not take it from housing trust. No, me attack. Where them would I get it from this year?
Where would they get the $11.4 billion from?
Yeah.
The $11.4 billion they could go to borrowing. They could raise that out of borrowing, Colin.
Yeah, but
They
if
could
them
raise
borrow
that.
it, if them borrow it, we still have to go pay back for it, OB, and I like it then nowhere else where them get it free there. So why you not get it free and go borrow it?
Why you wanna get it get
That's
hold on. The problem
increase the debt to GDP. You have to tell me somewhere where they could have get it free where they need have to pay for it.
yeah, but hold on, Colin. You see, you sound like you're sticking at the same thing with them at this point. Because the fact of the matter, hold on, Colin. The fact of the matter is that borrowing is not a bad thing, and also the fact that you boast about a low debt to GDP rate has nothing to do with anything. Haiti has the highest debt to GDP ratio. So hold on. So if we use
the lowest, not the highest. Haiti have the lowest.
The lowest, sorry, right? The lowest. So if we borrow, if we use the NHT funds for the purpose that is designated to, we would have what we talk about all the time as to the multiplier impact on the economy, and hence the economy would grow much more, so the government would benefit from it. I have answered several times.
No. You don't tell me where you tell me if they did do this and if they did do that. I'm saying
I'm saying that they can do it.
Hold on, Obi. At this stage where the government is, the government have no other source to get no money from.
No,
the government has run themselves in a brick wall. If they don't take NHT money, they're going to have to borrow it, as Obi said. If you borrow it, it comes with an interest. It is a further cost to us as a people. Yeah? So remember that this government carried the PNP administration to court, for this NHT money, and said that they would not take it, and they would ring fence the NHT that they can't, that nobody can take it, and they set a date.
Absolutely.
Let me just finish.
Which make my point even stronger.
Hold on, let me just finish. And they set a date of which they would stop taking this money. They made a promise that they would grow the Jamaican economy by 5% in 4 years based on the platform that they got. They have failed consistently to reach any kind of growth, overpaying the debt and doing all kind of bad move, which we have told them about, and therefore we said it was not sustainable. Now the government is in a conundrum, and they have been in that conundrum 2 years ago. When they
let me ask you something.
One second.
Yes, go ahead.
Because I've not been able to make any contribution here, quite frankly. Yeah, I've made a little, but I've not been able to make much. Now, what I'm saying, right? There are alternatives, Colin, that the government could revert. Let's look at the two alternatives they could revert. One of that is a.
Hold on a little bit. Hey boy, hold a sec. Obi, just mute your mic when you're not talking. I don't want to mute you because then I don't know when you want to talk. So like if you want to come in, you just unmute and come in. But when you're not talking, just mute. Yeah. Continue, Ed.
Right. No, I'm saying, look at what we're having. There are two issues that we're having in Jamaica that the member in Western St. Mary, when he was Minister of Mining, removed the bauxite levy. Right? I am saying to you that mining is going to become critical in the rebounding of our economy. Yes? So what we have to do now is, one, reimpose the bauxite levy. If you reimpose the bauxite levy, quite frankly, if you look at the levy over the period of years that the levy was actually operating and the industry was going good, the bauxite has been at its highest value now. So you will yield more from that. That's one source of revenue. Let's look at another source of revenue. You see, all of them are high-rise developments going up in Kingston. Yeah, we could craft a special taxation that deals with a certain income bracket.
So you're still coming with new taxes?
No. I don't business board. I am not worried about the new taxes. I am saying they can afford it. You are looking about affordability.
Yeah.
Right? These developers can afford to pay a new level of taxation because of the earning. When you have a place like Spyglass, and I just using a name. Yeah, I don't know if that exists. But when you have a place like Spyglass selling for 450,000 and 500,000 USD, they can more than afford to pay more. Yeah. So we need to start look at some of these high-end developments, remove some of these extra concessions we have put in place for them, right? And let them pay more in Jamaica. No, look at the other aspects. Let me give you another one. We can impose we can do a tariff on the imports, which force local farmers to get more subsidies. Colin, there are other avenues we can use.
But why?
Hold on 1 second. Why are we targeting $11.4 billion continually when that $11.4 billion could be given to contributors of the NHT to one, rebuild their homes who have been damaged, more access to that, plus bringing on new sustainable schemes and transforming our communities to become
NHT
more
no short of money to do that, boy. NHT can do that right now, same way if that was their priority.
No, Colin, that is not totally true. You know what is happening at the NHT right now?
Are you saying that the NHT is running out of money?
The NHT is on lending. The NHT is sending you to the banks. The NHT is sending you to the banks.
That is what ought to stop. That is what must stop.
And that is where I'm heading to. So I'm saying, why, if it is this scenario, right? Remember, the other alternatives which existed was our taxation on our airport. No matter what you do, we could impose an additional sums at the port for travel tax. And I'll tell you why. Because no matter what you do, people can still come to Jamaica. They love Jamaica. Yeah?
Yeah.
Without affecting our local people, Colin. I'm simply saying that Favour Williams and Andrew Holness will go down in history as one of the two laziest persons to preside over the economy. Lazy in their thinking, lack creativity, and have no creative juices flowing in their brains to look at how they could avoid damaging an economy that has already been damaged by the impacts of Melissa. There are alternatives. But they don't want to use these alternatives because if your wife is a developer, yes, and you is a developer, why would you put something imposing any taxation on developers?
What are those conflicts of interest?
Huh?
What are those conflicts of interest?
Absolutely. So when you're conflicted, you cannot. When you have half of your cabinet a developer, right, and half of your cabinet involved in importing food into Jamaica, what do you expect? So let us not pretend that there's no alternative. The alternatives exist, but they exist in a vacuum because the government refuses to take those alternatives because they themselves are conflicted in their business apparatus.
Big statement, head boy. Obi?
That's it. Proceed. I am done there. I don't have no more to say now.
All right, brother.
All the best, brother.
Unmute Obi. 876-804-7072. Obi, anything finally you want to add?
Oh, yeah, Colin, just to say that, there are just so many things that are going wrong in Jamaica at this time. And we as commentators, we continue to look at these things. We expect the people now to basically be up on the curve, understand these things, and look at what is beneficial to them. I still maintain the view that the $11.4 billion should, even in this year of Melissa, after Melissa, should be taken from the National Housing Trust. And I believe that if we really repurpose the National Housing Trust to its original mandate, I heard the spokesman on housing, Professor Floyd Morris, he said that he is moving a motion, in the parliament to basically look at certain things as it relates to the housing trust. I am really waiting on to see what would be in that motion and see how it would be carried. Because certainly I believe that if we really use the housing trust, that $11.4 billion, if we're able to put that out there in the national house in terms of project for development, I believe that we could see a greater throughput within the economy as it relates to the value added and indeed the multiplier effect. So I'm looking at that, Colin. Other thing that I want to close off with is this disgraceful scenario that the chairman for the St. Catherine Municipal Health Department,
Health and Sanitation Committee,
Sydney Rose talk about. And certainly I am doubling down to say that with this latest salvo coming out of that committee, it certainly means that Christopher Tufton had further outlived his usefulness in remaining as Minister of Health, and I don't know that he could remain there in any self-respecting country. We're talking about body parts, human body parts, as the gentleman said, out there in the open space, flies, rats, mosquitoes, everything, animal, goats, dog, everything is out there. Not to mention what is out there in the atmosphere as it relates to the human. So all in all, Colin, let's see how what will happen. What will the minister say to the Jamaican people and that? And this is not a situation that wasn't known to the minister. Mr. Rose said this was reported 4 weeks ago.
Hold on,
so yeah, man,
all right.
That's it, Colin. All right, all
thanks,
Bless
Conrad O'Brien. Yeah, man, check him out on YouTube. His YouTube channel is Conrad OB, the Fireman. Yeah, man, and he's on Sleek Radio 4 days a week, Mondays through to Thursdays. We have a caller holding. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Brother Colin, and all on the chat.
Morning.
Colin, let's focus on this taxes that is burden that's gonna be put on our poor, burdened, citizens of Jamaica. First of all, when I hear Mr. Robinson said for 2 fiscal periods, the government did not have the revenue as they portrayed. They took advance payment from the leaseholders of the airports and out of the NHT to fund their budget. Plus, I recall there was a capital budget not being spent by Uncle Ralston. I recall Uncle Ralston call out they're overpaying the debt, the extra payment where they don't need to. Even the raters, the lenders were saying they don't need to. But to know, come, and they didn't put they said they no tax the people, but to tax them, no. And using Melissa and Beryl, don't forget Beryl, is back-to-back catastrophic hurricane affected key sectors of the revenue base of our economy and our people. Now, Colin, for now that they're going to say they're going to tax the basics, because these are basic essentials to our people.
I'm listening.
It's unacceptable, Colin. It's unacceptable. It's wickedness at its maximum. It is deep on evil. It's uncaring. Where are the words should we describe this administration treatment of our people?
One of the things that I think Ed Boy said a while ago, that the developers can pay some more tax. But it looks funny that they didn't plan to go there. They went at the small men, small people. I don't know if some people are
Colin.
aware that in some country here, when a child get a soda, it's a major thing. Well, me don't know if that exists. No, when me a little boy, when me get us one soda for drink, what do you, man?
Colin,
Big
you
man.
realize that you Colin, you realize that this proposed tax hike is not towards the well-off.
No, it's the small people.
It is targeting poor, middle, or we call it working class, or we call it middle class
Working
people.
class, I'd prefer say. Poor and the working class, because when you're middle class, people are get more educated now, really drink all of the soda. So I really the large amount of poor people and the working class drink soda because they can't afford to buy natural juice. So them buy a drinks, a chubby, put in a them picnic lunch bag, send go to school. Then buy a big and a Fanta, a small Coke and a Pepsi. Yeah? A poor people buy them.
Colin, middle class, what I mean is middle people who have businesses, middle businesses, medium corporation, medium people. For example, those who have the bag juice factory, those who have those not Fanta, as you said, because of the big company, them import those. Are those manufactured in Jamaica?
But they are going to be taxed too. All of them drinks there, all of them sugary drinks, they are going to be taxed.
Yes, the sugary drinks is going to be taxed as you just. But which companies are bringing in those? And I ask again, we have to look into who manufactures those things, because I know of a few medium businesses in Jamaica when I do my research, like the bag juices, because lots of
bag
people them love their little bag juice, you put it on ice.
That are taxed to, I think, yeah.
Exactly. Now, comparing, and the same as you said, because when it's taxed, it trickle down to the poor people, then we buy it. Because when they raise it, when it tax go penny or tax the businesses, it fall down onto the consumer, which is the poor.
Me no see you.
Colin?
Yes, go ahead, Auntie. Go ahead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It tickles down. The cost is passed down to the poor and the consumer, the working class people. So that means when I'm looking at it then, Colin, even if it changed the fact, sugar is going to be raised. They're going to tax sugar. Because they're talking about sugar content, Colin. Syrup has sugar content. So this is where I'm telling you, this is unacceptable. I remember Mama Portia did come down hard and said they're going to demolish the middle class, working class, and the poor people with these taxes, and then come back with it. Colin, we need to focus on this. Our people, they need to, as we can see, Mr. Robinson come down hard. Oh, good. Excellent. Excellent. Maybe look if you touch something, Colin, because he.
They call it not hearing you. I'm seeing you, but I'm not hearing you.
Hold on, my bad. Nobody else was
Yeah,
hearing me.
man.
Nobody else was hearing me. Yeah, man. Welcome. We have the finance minister on the line. You're the one that you name finance minister.
Uncle Ralston, the advance payment that this government has been exposed from the least all advance payment, does that mean that all of that 5 year or the 2 fiscal year, how much money they cannot get it in for now because that is not gonna come in, while they resort to taxing this wicked taxing now hike?
Yeah, they were misleading the country with these one-off transactions and giving the country the impression that the fiscal accounts were in a better position that they were actually in. Now the country is surprised to know that they're only been able to identify $1 trillion in revenue and grants for the next fiscal year. So they were always misleading the country about the state of the fiscal account, the government and its apology. So that is the problem
So the whole in the budget is 400 billion, Raleigh. So like somebody I try call Raleigh.
Come on.
No, I'm saying if the whole in the budget is 400 billion.
Yeah, that's what they are saying because they are only identifying $1.1 trillion in revenue and grants. And they are planning to spend $1.441 trillion. So a massive hole in the budget. So they were always misleading the country. And another thing that we need to clarify that about how they were misleading the country. When we came out and said that the damage to the infrastructure was 41% of GDP, and the minister came and said, oh, that is not the wipeout of GDP. That's just the infrastructure damage as a percentage of the GDP the year before. Now she's telling the country that 41% of GDP has been wiped out. Say to the deception, the lying and the deception, yeah.
Isaac Buchanan asked her a question in the parliament, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she said,
Yep.
oh, it doesn't mean that we have lost $8.8 billion. It was just a number to measure. Tell her.
Yeah. I know she's consistent.
But this is what
I
the
know she's
lady from
consistent.
the IMF or the world leaders, when she was saying, she made sure emphasize that she did not include, that was only infrastructure, commercial and residential. She did not, she said it did not include agriculture. If you recall, play it again. She said wasn't, and that's why Uncle Ralston did come out and say that the Minister of Finance was misleading the country at that same time.
And she's still doing it because now she's telling the country that we lost 41% of GDP, and that is why this massive hole in the budget, and that is why the need for the tax package. So she continues to mislead the country. Everything she says, every document she put out, she has this thing about we lost 41% of GDP, contradicting herself and contradicting the resident representative of the World Bank who ran to our rescue when we made that comment. Yep. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we try to deceive. Yeah.
So Raleigh. Raleigh. Obi and Ed Boy, I was talking to them a while ago, and them I said the government should stop taking the 11 billion from the NHT. If they don't take this $11 billion, isn't that a further $11 billion that they might try to find somewhere else?
Yeah, man. If them stop take that, it means that they have to borrow more.
Tala.
Yeah. So because they were always deceiving. They were always deceiving the country about the state of the fiscal accounts and the economy.
And when we tell people about it, them say we are preach doom and gloom, don't? And we are bad news whore.
Precisely.
And we are idiot. But Raleigh, seriously now, these taxes that they are imposing, the major part of it, who will it affect?
All right. I'm glad you said that because that is why I tell you there's something wrong with the Minister Ed. Before the tax package came out, she told the country that the most vulnerable will be protected. Now this package is going to increase the cost of what the most vulnerable drink, what the most vulnerable eat, what the most vulnerable drive. So the most vulnerable, the school children, yeah, the people, they are the ones that are going to be affected badly by this tax package. The same people who said she was trying to protect. So you can't take the minister's word. Yeah.
No, continue.
You cannot take the minister's word because it's always the opposite of what she says becomes the outcome. So it's either that she's very deceptive or she don't know what she's doing. She don't know the difference between the various things. which either one of them is very bad.
No, Ralston.
Hold on, one thing more I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
If we were to accept, because we had said that before and she denied it, if
Yes.
we were to accept what she's telling the country now, about 41% of GDP is wiped out. It means that the debt to GDP ratio is 115% now, not the 68% that she's talking about.
Hold
Yeah.
on now. Hold on,
If
Raleigh.
we were,
Say that
yeah,
again.
yeah. If we were,
say no.
if we were to accept what the minister is saying now in every communication that she sent out, that 41% of GDP was wiped out by Hurricane Melissa, it means that the debt to GDP ratio would be 115% rather than the 68% that she's telling us about. The
So
minister
you're
is
saying that the
confusing
minister has
herself.
come full circle now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because at first, when we said that, she said we were talking nonsense, and she got the representative from the World Bank to back her. She told us that that was infrastructure damage related as a percentage of the previous year, and that the real damage to the economy by Beryl would be only between 4 and 6%.
By Melissa?
By Melissa, would be only 4 to 6%. Now, to justify the tax package, she's coming to tell the country, oh, by the way, 41% of GDP was wiped out, so I have to come with this tax package. Joke business, deception.
Do you, Ralston, agree that based on where the government is, where the economy of the country has reached, the government had no other option but to put in this tax package?
No, I'm not convinced. What I'm convinced is that they're always deceiving the country about the state of the economy, particularly the fiscal accounts, because they were using these one-off transactions. Yeah. And they also gave away a whole lot of money. Yeah.
Hold
They are
on,
the
before
ones
we
who.
come to the whole heap of money, you heard what Julian said in the parliament? Julian
No,
Robinson?
what he said. No, what he said.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
I want to go to some of the measures, again, preliminary to...
Hold on. Start it from the beginning.
As we go along. I want to make a couple of comments. Before we get to Melissa, or even before we got to Beryl, it's important to remind the country that for the last 2 fiscal years, government's revenues have been struggling to meet government expenditures. And the government has relied for the last 2 fiscal years on 2 one-off transactions which have allowed the government to fund the budget. In 2023-24, the sale of 12 years of future revenues from the Norman Manley International Airport yielded $75 billion, which financed the 23-24 budget. For the 24-25 budget, the sale of future revenues, 10 years of future revenues of Donaldson Airport yielded $61 billion, which allowed the government to finance the 24-25 budget. I am making this point, Madam Speaker, to indicate that without Beryl, without Melissa, the government would have had to find some other asset to sell to meet the demands of the budget.
That was Julian Raleigh.
Yeah, man, and that's true. And that's what
there, that Uncle Ralston, please let me ask something. Let me say something.
Hold on, Fowler. Hold on. Make him just respond to Julian and then I'll allow you and let you go. Go ahead.
No, he's correct. And that's what I'm telling you, that Nigel Clark and the government were always deceiving the country about the state of the fiscal accounts. Yeah. All happened is that Melissa made that worse because they were already in that position. So without Melissa, they would have to find something else to sell for true. Yeah. Because they use these one-off transactions to deceive the people. That's correct.
Go ahead, Carla.
So this is a question and confirm with me, Uncle Ralston. So that means the 10-year, the 12-year, 2023-2024 payment of $75 million or billion dollars. That means now we are looking at when that money, they're not gonna get any more money from the Kingston, from the Norman Manley for the next. And
them spend all of that money already.
2024, 2025 that they get from the Sangsters in advance payment of 60 million. That means that the next 10 year fast, because those are future payments. So they don't have nothing for the
Yeah,
next
man.
one. 12
No.
years between 2023 to going forward, they don't got no more money to get from these two leaseholders right now.
No.
Is that correct?
No, them spend all of that money already. No more money.
And they're not going to get any now till the next 12 years.
They heat them bread
Yeah,
off
man.
tomorrow already.
Yeah, man. As Bob Marley said, they meet them bread off tomorrow.
All right, caller. Thanks much.
Thank you. Oh my.
Raleigh,
Oh.
what is this digital tax that the minister is talking about? So they're going to tax digital services. What is that?
Well, it needs more clarity, but then say, I mean, if you buy things from Amazon.com, if you buy things from Shein, if you buy things from them place, them have to tax it. Many people are saying how them are collect the tax, but what them are saying, if you go to the bank and buy the thing, then them are tax it. Yep. So that's what I talk about. And digital equipment, digital connections, them say it include Airbnb and all of them places who registered and do business in Jamaica, but them not paying a tax in Jamaica. People still wonder how them are going to collect it. Yep.
So the government searching.
Yeah, man, for money. Searching, groping, because them out of money. There's a 400 billion gap here, look, man. And by the way, don't make them blame Melissa and the capital spending for that, because trust me, them only add 39 billion to the capital budget. Nothing 39, 34 billion, because the capital budget always 65 billion, 60 billion and change. So that would only account for like 35 billion of the additional spending.
So the capital budget this year is what? 90-something billion?
99 billion. And them not going to spend that. I tell you that straight.
Right,
every year them come with 60, 65.
Hold on. No run from it yet. Let's stay at the capital budget. What percentage of GDP is that?
Well, we don't even know what the new GDP figures yet, but that would have be like, when them come with 65, that would have be like 5. That would have be like 7% of GDP.
And what you said is acceptable on the world stage? That you should spend?
10%. 10% under normal circumstances, not after a disaster.
And this is about 7% after a disaster.
Yeah, man. And I'm telling you that they're not going to spend that.
And so with 99 billion, the argument of billing back really no sounds hollow.
Yeah, man. Of course. Remember, say you have to build back that over a long period. They can't build that in one fiscal year because the infrastructure is supposed to build up over 10, 15, 20 years. They can't build back that in 1 year.
I understand that, but you'd expect the government to start at a rapid pace. In this year, start putting back infrastructure together at a rapid pace. So therefore, an extra $38 billion really says nothing.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm not going to spend it neither.
And you are not confident. I am not confident. The Bank of Jamaica is not confident that
nobody in Jamaica is confident based on the track record. When I speak it out of here, based on them track record, nobody is confident of that. Yep.
So we're taking calls on 876-804-7072. That's 1-876-804-7072. We're talking to Ralston. I'm a top economist on the island of Jamaica. We've been telling people that the government is not managing the economy well. Ralston, where is the growth going to come from based on what you see in that paper that was presented?
I don't see.
But isn't that the most critical part of the budget that we need to speak to right now?
That's the only option that is available. The option that the minister and Damian thing I talk about, then they're full option. The only options right now is to grow the economy. So here what I tell you now, if me was the finance minister, here what I do. Them full of money what them get from the multilateral agencies and from the remittances in terms of the BOJ. The BOJ now have almost 7 billion in reserves. What the minister would should have done if she was a good minister? Call the BOJ governor long before the budget. Call the president of the Jamaica Bankers Association and the president of the private sector organization and say the only option that is available for Jamaica now and the next generation is to go for growth. Follow me?
Yes.
So, hear me now, Governor. Hear me now, Bankers Association. Governor, why you bring down the interest rates? Bankers Association, the asset tax was something that came out of an emergency and we should have stopped it from 2016. We have a hurricane now and you say, oh, I will bring down the asset tax in order for you to reduce the interest rate. So here we know. The asset tax are 0.5% of the assets of the banking sector, which is about $13 billion. Yeah? We might can't be doing the entire 13 billion. We're not do the entire 13 billion because them give more money on that for by election.
Rally, you're breaking up. I don't know if you're moving.
But
you're breaking up. We're
cut
losing.
it
Go ahead. Start over.
down to 0.
No. Rally, you're breaking up. Yep.
I don't know what's happening. I'm at the same place.
All right, we are
I don't know what's happening. I'm at the same place.
We are hearing you better now, so go ahead.
So what am I saying? The finance minister should have gotten together with the Bank of Jamaica governor, the president of the private sector organization of Jamaica, the president of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, and the president of the Jamaica Bankers Association, and said the only option that is available to Jamaica now is to go for growth. The central bank has enough reserves now to protect the dollar. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring down the interest rates, right? And you, the Bankers Association, you want us to remove the asset tax. So even if we can't do all right this year, we'll do it in phases. So this year, we'll cut it down to 0.25%, and next year, we'll eliminate it completely. And why you bring down the interest rates. PSOJ, JMA, we will provide a range of incentives to you because we have to go for growth and exports now. That is the only strategy that is valid. What you do is foolishness. All that I do is to reduce aggregate demand, as what the businessman them tell you. That will make it harder for them. And will take longer to go back to where we were before Hurricane Melissa. It might take us 10 years now. The DOJ did say 5. First them said 3. And them said 5. Now it will take about 10.
Wow.
Yep.
We have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. We have Ralston Hyman on the line.
Yeah, morning, Colin.
Yeah, man.
Quick question. I know that the negotiations with the public sector workers was not settled.
Yeah.
I would love to know, with this new tax package that they have put on the table, how is this going to affect the negotiations for public sector workers? I saw an article where Keith Duncan was saying that they're asking people in the public sector to hold strain, but you would have been asking them to hold strain in the last for a couple of cycles now. Is it that they're really going to be asking them to tighten them? Some people are dead now, Colin.
Make we hear Ralston say about that discussion of public sector wages, Rally?
The caller is right. The minister said despite the tax package, them still offer the same amount of money because the wage bill is $555 billion. So this is going to be a struggle. In other words, what I say, despite the fact that hurricane broke the people them and damaged them, the government still asks the people them to make more sacrifice. I mean, I said to yourself, I tell the people them before COVID-19, the economy they are stagnant. COVID-19 come and the economy continues to stagnate and the government continues to ask the people to make more sacrifice. Beryl come and the economy go in a recession. And now Melissa come and block everybody and the government still ask the people to make more sacrifice rather than help the people. That is a mess.
But how the people are going to be able to maneuver, Rally? If
them can't maneuver. Them cannot maneuver. That's the point I'm making to you. The people them just dead now. Yeah? All them are maneuver. May I tell you about the cycles before that Nigel Clark had them on austerity. COVID-19 come put them on a more austerity, them continue the same direction. Beryl come them continue the same direction. And Melissa come them continue the same direction because one variable them I look on. All them I look on are the debt to GDP ratio for please the ratings agencies them to get an upgrade. Them now run the country on behalf of the people. And then them confused.
But hold on, Rally. Here where thing they say. What them name? Listen this.
Accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers has called on the government to focus on previously proposed policies that were not implemented to drive tax revenue growth. This after the government tabled a $1.44 trillion budget, of which $18 billion is expected to come from new taxes yesterday. Halshin Burke tells us more.
PwC says to avoid an erosion of the hard-won gains from significantly reducing the national debt and debt-to-GDP ratio, the government must generate greater levels of investment and economic activity that will contribute greater taxes to the consolidated fund. It also suggests increasing tax compliance so everyone pays their fair share of taxes. To put these into play, PwC says last year, both Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and Finance Minister Favour Williams indicated the intention to develop initiatives to encourage taxpayers to bring home to Jamaica business activities as well as investment holdings that have been established in or transferred to other tax jurisdictions. This has not yet been implemented. It says if designed and implemented properly, this could bring in fresh economic activity that is currently taking place outside of Jamaica, which in turn could bring additional tax revenues after such activities or investments migrate to Jamaica. This could also provide an opportunity to abolish asset tax, which further acts as a deterrent to bring and hold assets in Jamaica. The accounting firm believes consideration should be given to the use of various technological tools to bring the informal economy more within the tax net before the government seeks to impose new or higher taxes in the future. For example, the use of electronic tax receipts, which could be required by law to be used by businesses meeting certain criteria so that their revenues can be collated for tax purposes. It also recommended that a voluntary structured tax settlement program be developed and implemented so taxpayers can regularize their tax affairs and maintain tax compliance going forward. PwC is also calling for an overhaul and reform of the urban renewal tax regime and to extend it to a wider range of urban areas outside of downtown Kingston, a move Dr. Holness has expressed interest in effecting. This will spur new investment and economic activity in.
Those are some new tax measures, some new measures, or some different measures that PricewaterhouseCoopers are suggesting to the government. What are your views?
Yeah, man, I agree with a whole lot of them. The one bring back overseas and them to them. I don't think that'll work, but the other one them workable. Because most of the man them who do the thing them overseas include the decision makers, so that'll work.
You
The Prime Minister
lawmakers them had put their money overseas, so them now go want to change that.
They never change that. But other initiatives them workable.
But
in the fundamental point, the man them make is that to generate more tax revenues, you have to grow the economy. Nothing else can change that. Yeah?
I want to put something to you, Ralston. I want to put something to you that was in the opposition manifesto that I think could bring somewhere about $3 billion new revenue into the coffers of the government. You remember the opposition had said that anybody will live on government land for 25 years, they will give it to them right away. Then the government will get tax from that, don't?
Yeah, man.
So that is somewhere about 700,000 people, them say, in the country will live on squatters' land.
Yeah.
And if each one of them are pay $5,000 a year for tax, that's $3 billion, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Why
man.
is this government so hard to see? Is it that they have no intention of growing the economy, really? Because no growth.
But see that. You see that, man? You see that? Them now focus on growth. And the only way you can get more revenues is for growth the GDP. Them have no growth strategy. You have to have more investments and growth. So them have to focus on things that drive investments and growth. When they come and tax the people, they are retard investments and growth. Them are going in the wrong direction. What them want, them are focused on the debt to GDP rather than focus on the GDP and then the debt as a percentage of GDP will fall. Them are focused more upon paying down the debt rather than expanding the economy so that the debt can become lower as a percentage of GDP. Which probably with the debt to GDP ratio now is a comfortable ratio, you know? most of the countries that were grow, where we want to go. The whole of them man, the debt to GDP ratio over 100% and 200% and them thing then. So we in a comfortable position in relation to debt to GDP and grow when we're supposed to grow now and stop focus on debt. Them still are focused on the debt and not focus on growth. Yeah?
But isn't it a fact that from we hit 70%, 75% debt to GDP? Isn't that fact that from this that's a comfortable position to be?
What that may I tell you, anything below 80% is a comfortable position. I rubbish them at man. That may I try to tell you, may I talk straight. Asking the great economists, anything below 80% for developing countries is a comfortable rate. So, yeah? Barbados, why think me I'm at the win so much time? At 2035 after them 60%. Eastern Caribbean states.
So where are they now? Where's Barbados now?
Barbados is about a little bit under 100 right now.
And they are comfortable.
Yeah, why think me and Matt win back so much time? Because the people are comfortable. Because you know, I stress them out. I focus on debt and I focus on improvements in the quality of them life. Them people are focused on debt and I focus on the improvements in the quality of the life of the people. At 60% we're well comfortable. Yeah? So
more than comfortable.
More than comfortable. So them never have to go for the taxes right now to stress out the people. Them. I rubbish them out.
Somebody was asking earlier in the chat room that if the Bank of Jamaica will still be intervening in the US dollar.
Yeah, man, them still do it. And them still map up liquidity. Up to this week, they map up 24 billion and then get 40 billion instead of the 24 billion. It should have them should have done the opposite right now. That's the point I'm making to you. Them should have lower the interest rates and stop the mapping up exercises now and put money in the system so that the small business people who did mash up, because small business did mash up before Melissa, they mash up before Beryl, mash up after COVID-19, them still not recover yet. The stock market still not recover yet. The stock market was trading at 500,000 before COVID-19. The stock market still there at 350,000 right now.
So the stock market has not gotten back to pre-COVID numbers.
No, that's the point I'm making to you. Because of the high interest rate regime and the lack of confidence. So that is why I'm telling you that BOJ should be cutting the rate. The minister, $7 billion or $13 billion shouldn't be a problem for the asset tax, because the asset tax should have gone from 2016. The housing trust money should have stopped being taken from 2016.
The government is seeking what, $18 billion in new taxes, Raleigh?
Yeah, man.
Could they have run a deficit and not put on the new taxes at this time?
Of course. That's the point I'm making, because doing that would lead to growth. Putting on the new taxes will lead to more stagnation.
So explain to us how they could have gone about doing the budget without adding any tax at this time and running that kind of what percent that deficit would be.
Colin, it's simple enough. The government line up 3.2 billion, take out the Bank of Jamaica money with them get already. The government have access to 3.2 billion US dollars in money from outside.
Yes.
So the government have no need to come to the Jamaican people for no money. All they need to do is say we have a comfortable debt to GDP ratio now. We can run that for the next 2 years or 3 years. And stimulate the economy. Yeah? So if you grow, so what they tell you is that them now have no ambition for grow the economy. Them still go with the 1% foolishness where them project. We're supposed to look for growth of at least 5%. If we grow the economy by 5%, you balance the budget back quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are saying that there was no need for this tax package?
No, because all this other hold back the economy and make the people them suffer more. Yeah? All the youth them were school damaged. Remember, you know, the drinks and whenever tax are that going to the school, the youth them lunch bag, you know.
Yeah, that's what we are saying.
You say rubbish to man about the brother. Rubbish. So the youth them and the mother them who are suffer already are more suffering them put on the people. Condensed milk, everything where you think. Sweeten, Milo, everything where you think. Where households use. And that the man them tax. The people them who get pressured already by the hurricane, by COVID-19, by Beryl, by Melissa.
And let me just get this clear. You are saying that the government of Jamaica was in a position to present the same 1.4 trillion budget and find the money elsewhere because they have access to loan already. Loan that are already pre-approved.
The man them have access to over $1 trillion in loan at between 4 and 5% cheap money. And the debt to GDP ratio using our calculation is 68%. There was no need for this.
But what if it's not 68%? What if it's 115% like you posit earlier? So if based on what the finance minister is saying now, that 41% of GDP was wiped out. If that is the case, wouldn't this be the response, the correct response then?
That is why she's using that to tell the people, and that is not true, because the 8.8 billion in infrastructure damage is something that built up over the years. So you now have to deal with it in one fiscal year. That is why she come back now and contradict herself, because she want to justify the tax package.
Think we have a call? Yeah, we have a call. Go ahead, Junior.
How you do?
We're there, you know. We're there.
When you map up the liquidity in the economy, you contract the economy.
Yeah, man, that's why we call it mapping up, man. Just look on a house full of water and use the map. You contract the water out of the house. Yeah, it's simple.
And when you have a tax package of how much money, no contract in the
contraction again, that's the point I'm telling you. The man make the life of the people harder, more suffering. Contraction mean more suffering for the people. Because the pie gets smaller and smaller. And then the man them who would invest.
It's clear that the government is not thinking.
No, man, not thinking, man. They're not thinking.
We have people in charge of our country who are really stupid.
Yeah,
this
man.
is really stupidity at the highest level, you
know. Correct,
you
sir.
have. Well, I've been trying to buff my head over this thing. We have now more than ever foreign exchange available to the government. At the same time, them drawing money out of the economy. And then you come with a tax package now.
Yeah, this is our stupidity.
Life out of people.
Yeah, this is our stupidity, the man. They don't love the people. I rubbish them out of here.
But Ralston, what is shocking me is what is shocking me is when you are saying to me that the government never need to put on no new taxes this year. There are ways to maneuver this because we have access to money.
How can that be shocking to you and the man have access to $1 trillion at below 5%? Go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
Right. So if we follow the minister's confusing line and the debt to GDP is 68%, and you have access to $1 trillion at under 5%, why you need to tax the people? Because you know taxes are contract the economy. When the economy gets smaller, the debt to GDP ratio gets higher.
Yeah.
You said the lady is confused, she don't know what she's doing, and Damian King, what tell her one bag of foolishness.
So what now, Raleigh, you expect, Julian, because the budget debate starts when?
Starts March 10. Silver speaking.
March 10. And then Julian will be speaking what, the Tuesday after that? What do you expect to hear from a Julian Robinson and a Mark Golding? And what will the Prime Minister say?
Yeah, man.
Raleigh? Raleigh?
Well, we expect to hear the... Yeah, man. You listen to me?
Yes, go
ahead. Can you hear
me? I hear you now.
Yeah, we expect the opposition to say that we're against this tax package because the only thing that can deal with the economy and the future now is to grow the economy, and taxes, mopping up of liquidity are contractionary. So as an opposition, what we would recommend is that Mark has already said that we reduce the asset tax, get the banks to reduce the interest rates so that we can provide a stimulus to the economy, because that's what the economy needs right now. And growth will take care of everything because we are comfortable in the debt to GDP ratio and we have access to over $1 trillion at below 5%. So what we are saying is that we want to see a growth strategy that focuses on agriculture, manufacturing, energy, the creative industry, logistics, and the stimulation of the small and micro enterprises sector, which contribute the most to economic growth and to employment and tax collection. Simple.
Junior, have a final piece. Take a next call or two.
The Jamaica Labour Party has historically protected a certain class.
Yeah, man.
And if you look at the tax package, you realize clearly the class that they have interest in. They have always protected the rich. And if you look at the tax package, it tells you clearly where the government interest lies.
Yeah, man.
Blessings.
Yep.
Raleigh, the building industry, could they have taxed that industry? We see a whole heap of high rise going up. Go ahead, Raleigh.
Colin, as me I said, them no need for tax nobody at all right now. Them should not tax nobody at all right now because even the building industry, the high interest rate regime are cramped the building industry too. There's no demand for most of those buildings, right? So yeah, with the people, everybody need a stimulus right now. Nobody don't need no additional taxes right now. There is nowhere in the world in economics where you have a natural disaster or recession and you tax the people and during that period of time. Yeah, that's not the role of good economics.
Tax you out of the disaster.
Yeah, you can't imagine that's up there, brother. You say about this, that.
When you need to be stimulating growth, you tax the people, take more money, and you continue to mop up liquidity. We have Neville on the line. Neville, morning.
Hello, good morning, Colin. Good morning, my baby. Understand?
Yes, Neville.
Yeah, Colin.
Yeah, man. Yes. I hear you.
I just want to do a maths question, a maths analysis for the people to understand better. So when they raise up the things them in the supermarket now, government put on is inflation, and the supplier and the supermarket owner going to put on his margin, right?
Yes.
So if the product like let's say a Pepsi Cola used to cost $150, when they're done with it, the Pepsi Cola might reach $220. And when you take that to the cashier, they're going to multiply the 220 now by the GCT, and more cash flow going to go over into the government.
Yes.
And then because the government know that we have a much deficit in Jamaica, in saying they raise the GCT, but 15% of 220 is not the same as 15% of 150.
Not
so
at
just
all.
take away cash flow from you.
Not at all. Right, that's all.
The government playing a game name. All is mine.
All is mine.
I see if they want to.
Yes.
But the only reason why they're getting away with it is because we are disunited on the ground.
Definitely. No unity on the ground.
No unity on the ground. And the level of financial illiteracy is too high on the ground. I'm tell you lifestyle, I don't know how to pay you a lifestyle, but I don't know how to pay you a Colin. But one day you will get paid. If it's even God will pay you.
Yes.
We have to get these people financially literate.
Yeah, man.
Because we can't go into 2040 like this. Because
correct, sir. Agreed.
Nah, joke.
Take care.
All right, brother. Blessings.
Last time,
yeah, man.
Last time your food basket never empty.
One love. Bless up.
One love.
All right, we're taking one more call.
All right, blessed.
We're taking one more. And then,
all right, so Colin.
Yeah. Go ahead, Raleigh.
Colin.
Yes, man. Go ahead.
All right, watch this now. The manufacturing sector. Well, listen to this carefully.
Yes.
During the 1970s and the 1980s, the manufacturing sector accounted for about 20% of GDP. They've employed 165,000 persons. Right now, the manufacturing sector is 9% of GDP, employing only 85,000 persons. The Jamaican Manufacturers and Exporters Association says that against the background of declining exports and declining manufacturing, they're going to relaunch the Buy Jamaican campaign on March 5 in Arthur Tree Square.
Yeah.
to get the people to understand to buy Jamaican in order to reduce the trade deficit and them thing. You know, Mr. Foster, the vice president in charge of the JMA for
Yeah.
the program, and the managing director of Foster said yesterday. Right away, the man then set them back because them costs have go up by 20% based on the new measures. As a result of that, Jamaican products can't compete with the products that will come from Trinidad and come from other places. So the trade deficit have widened. So while the man must start the campaign, the government's measures have against the man campaign, which is to increase exports and reduce the trade deficit. Can you imagine the madness there?
The
A key
government
sector
out
like
of
that.
them depth? Is it that the out of them depth are the right hand don't know where the left hand do?
Completely.
Because that sounds like there's no coordination.
There's no coordination between the government. There's no coordination between the government and the bank and the sector, the private sector. No coordination. Because this take all of the man them by surprise, like a thief in the night.
We have a caller holding, final call we take. Hello, caller. Good afternoon. Morning.
Thank you, Mr. Colin, and good morning.
Yes.
Mr. Colin,
Yes.
you see, I sit here and I listen, and I said to myself, you can't but eat this government in operation right now. You can't hold back yourself from not eating this man. You want to tell me, it's advising him, and he's on the wrong path, and he's getting advice. Be it, say, Mr. Ralston, whatever he wants to say, this is Jamaica, the economy. Listen to the man now. Sit with the man now. Talk with the gentleman now. Get some ideas because you're on the wrong path to build the country. I am wondering if the Jamaica people realize now what is going. I'm hungry inside, and I'm holding back myself. I'm feeling so hurt. My country, Jamaica, with what this government has been doing and will not stop and will not listen. Now the people who is paying NHT funds, which is drawn from their salary, they don't have any way of getting any house again. Did they see that?
Because this thing I got to 2031, they're not getting no.
Let me ask you, Raleigh. Hold on, caller. Hold on, caller. Raleigh, is the NHT short on funds?
No.
So why people still can't benefit? The $11 billion, it don't put NHT out of business, or it don't put them in a place that they can't help couple thousand people.
Correct, but $11 billion would have been adding to that, and more people would be getting houses now than are getting. Yeah, remember, this thing was supposed to... Go ahead.
But isn't it that NHT can still do more than what they are doing now because they still have a lot of funds there?
Yeah, but NHT needs review, because when the man then come in, then review the NHT, and Nigel Clark and Andrew will say NHT is just a bank like any other bank. That is part of the problem.
No, but that can't be. And those are some of the things that must come out against. NHT can't give money to commercial bank for lend we.
Precisely.
Why
This is what I'm talking about.
But the Jamaican people sit down and accept that. Then sit down and accept that. And to understand Nigel Clark, when Nigel Clark was chairman, that is what them know. Them says a bank just like any other bank. So them have been $30 million house and $40 million house and everything there.
But isn't it that they are using NHT to fatten the other commercial banks when you are saying to NHT that you have to send people to them to unlend the money?
Of course, but me I say the Jamaican people sit down and accept that the man them do whatever they want, everybody sit down and accept it. That wasn't the mandate that Mike and man they set up the housing trust for. Remember, I want to remind you. That came out of the second IMF.
Mr. Ralston.
Hold on, caller. Go ahead, Raleigh.
That came out of the second IMF agreement in 1976 when the IMF said the workers then forgot on wage freeze. Yeah? The union man them said to Manley say, yo, but the people them don't know where to live. And so Mike and Manley set up the housing trust to facilitate poor people housing. Then money come and say it's a bank, just like it. In other words, just like how Trump reverse everything with the other president them do. Then money come and reverse everything with Michael do and say Michael mash up the country. Then look at you tell that them say.
You take it from me. There was going.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, Mr. Ralston. If I was nearby, I'd shake your hand. That's where
Yeah,
I
man.
was going next.
You know, I observe them and
Everything that the
listen to them.
PNP government has
Them
put
reverse it.
forward and has
Yep.
operating in Jamaica for the betterment of the Jamaican people. If you notice good, this is what he's trying to destroy.
Them reverse everything. Yeah, man. Just like Trump. Yeah,
Yes,
man.
he's trying to destroy all of these because everybody knows Jamaica people lives have been better and home in their own home. And if you're
Yeah,
going
man.
to do that, then where do you put the people out the door?
Yeah,
People
man.
can't pay rent.
Yeah, man.
And you're not building the economy. What are they going
Yep.
to do?
Yep.
No, thousands of dollars have been taken from people's salary towards NHT. When last have you seen or heard that a settlement is going to be built and is about to be open and they put it in the glean and you apply? When
Yeah.
last?
Yeah, man.
Eh?
Very difficult.
No,
The
let me
place
tell you
where
something, Jamaica, you see, by the time them done, Mr. Colin, and them to come out, Jamaica gone down to nothing. For the next prime minister to come build. Me no know if the people them not see and sit down on them easy degree down there and have this big nose man. Me say me no like the man, because the man evil past everything. Colin?
Later.
Me have more to say, but me not go say it until another time.
Tomorrow morning
because
with the way over time.
Or the idiots down there sit down and having this man doing them like this. You see, Favor? Let me say this and come off.
Yeah.
You see, Favor? I'm wondering to myself, if she really come to her senses, she realize, but because she has Andrew over her, she can do better. But woman, put it down and come out, because at the end of the day, you are going to be held as long as you live, even when you're dead and go in the grave. That what you have done to the Jamaica economy with Andrew-ness, I give you that. Remember. Thank you, Mr. Khan.
All right, caller. Raleigh, final call that. Wrap up now. Talk to us.
Yes. So what we're saying right now, based on where we are and based on the new tax package, it is going to take much, much longer than was necessary for the country to get back to pre-Melissa economic levels. The Bank of Jamaica at first, them said 3 years, now they revised it to 5 years. Based on what is happening now, you're looking at 10 years. Yeah? And what they're doing is sacrificing the future of the next generation, the school children now. Right? Although they are saying that they are protecting them, what is going to happen is the opposite. You don't increase taxes after a natural disaster or when a country is in a recession, because taxes are contractionary and inflationary, right?
Yes.
What they should have done is to draw down on the concessionary funding that they have and to give the economy as a stimulus. The Bank of Jamaica has enough foreign exchange to reduce the interest rates and to defend the currency. And the government has enough resources. Only $7 billion it can take to reduce the asset tax to half of what it is now. $13 billion can pay off that money. So them should pay off the money and get the banks to reduce the interest rates and stimulate the economy, because the majority of the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises which grow the economy and which pay the more taxes, they're going to collect more taxes if they stimulated that sector, and they're going to create more jobs. That is what we need to do. Growth is the only way we can generate more revenues to fund the economy. Simple.
Can't continue to borrow from Peter to pay Paul.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Yep.
All right,
and you can't lay off no public sector workers. That only make the situation worse.
So what is going to happen to the negotiations, though, Raleigh? We already hear the teachers saying that them now settle for where the government offer. How we going to deal with that?
What really happen is that you have all of this struggle and demonstration and this and that, and then the government will use PR and say them wicked because this and that, and then they might eventually settle for the 2% or the 4%. They might keep them below inflation. So anyway, you take it, the workers have to make a sacrifice in them living standard again. Yep. And so our teachers wicked, them now teach people, them the nurses wicked, them have appeal to the public and the good-heartedness of the public sector. Yeah, now pay them what they want.
So it's more austerity measures again.
More austerity across.
How can they say that though when they have also now put on GCT on the little motor vehicle concession with public sector worker would
Them
normally
no
get.
business, them I say the workers must bear some more sacrifice, and that are the PR whatever push out there. Yeah. So what we got 13 years of austerity from 2013 until now. I just more austerity for the people. There's no, it's like West Indies cricket. You can't turn the corner. You get me? I say, yep.
Wow.
So that's austerity. Yep.
Respect, Raleigh. We'll
Blessed
talk.
love, man. Yeah, man.
One
Blessings.
love.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Bless.
Listeners and viewers, Ralston Iman, top economist in Jamaica. None better. We want to thank everybody for being with us this morning. Thanks to all the listeners and viewers. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like, and share. Tomorrow morning, we'll be with you at about 8:30 a.m. for Talk Jamaica, when we'll be able to take much more of your calls. We are half an hour over the time today, and sorry we can't stay any longer. Gotta go. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace. Until we meet again tomorrow morning, this has been the Colin Bell Show. One love.